What is the very first step that we need to perform here? We looked at similar examples that were linear equations, not quadratic. The degree is 2. I expect 2 solutions. What do you think we need to do to start this problem? Which in my opinion is absolutely mandatory. Okay, that's the first step, I agree. And then?
I'm sure you want to multiply everything by 4?
Absolutely, absolutely. No one can force me to solve an equation with fractions. No one. The same thing with negative leading coefficient. No one. No, no. So this times 4 is 5x squared. This times 4 is 18x. This times 4 is 8. And this times 4 is 0. Excellent. Absolutely. Eliminate the negative leading coefficient. Eliminate fractions immediately. Eliminate decimal numbers immediately. Multiplying by the appropriate. Excellent. Thank you. Well, this is not a friendly situation. It's not a special product. And 1 is not the leading coefficient. So again, I hit a problem with the long procedure. I don't like it, but I have no choice. What is the product? And what is the sum? And remember, the sum never changes. The sum is always easy. You don't have to do anything. You just have to say the sum must be this.
The sum is 18.
Yes, that never changes. But remember, these have to be in descending order, because if they're mixed and matched, maybe that's incorrect. Good. And what will be the product?
Negative 40?
Yes, because we have to incorporate the leading coefficient. We have no choice. So this is the product. So it is negative 40. Because the product is negative, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. But the positive number has to be so much bigger than the negative, because this minus this is a big number, 18. So this has,
2?
okay, 20 and 2. 20 times negative 2 is negative 40. 20 minus 2 is indeed 18. Now, I have to change this using these numbers. So I copy 5x squared, but plus 20x and minus 2x and minus 8. And finally, do not go backwards. Cover up the last two terms, because now we have 4 terms, although you can say, but combine them. But then I go backwards, and I can't factor. So I made a lot of effort. I put in a lot of effort to change this into what is equivalent to, because my only chance is factoring by grouping. So what will you factor out from the first two? That if I don't factor this correctly, then the whole thing collapses. So I have to be careful.
5x?
Yes. And what is left in parentheses?
X plus 4.
Indeed, x plus 4, because this times this is this, and this times this is this. I copy x plus 4. I copy the equal symbol. I copy 0. And now I look. I need the sign and the factor.
Minus 2.
Minus 2. We check. Ta 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 ta. Good. So, common factor now. It gets pulled out.
X plus 4. X, or 5x minus 2.
Very good. So two solutions. From here, I get x equals negative 4. When I move it to the other side, I set this equal to 0. I move 2 and divide by 5. Any questions? Okay. Okay, so let's work on this one, because this one is already prepped, so to speak, at least a little bit for us. So this one is 7x plus 4 and 2x squared minus 17x minus 9 equals 0. So this equation is already in the zero product principle setting. A product, this factor times this factor equals 0. So we have two options. 7x plus 4 to be 0, which means negative 4 over 7. And the other option is 2x squared minus 17x minus 9 equals 0. On this one, we have to work on. But we already have a factor that we're able to solve and get x. But now we have to solve this one. It's in descending order, no special product. I always hope for a special product. Special products are easy. No negative leading coefficient, again, no special product. 1 is not the leading coefficient. So I'm back to the same thing again, the long procedure in which the product is and the sum is.
Negative 18, negative 17.
Yes,
So
See-
negative 18 times 1.
very good. So all you have to do now, go back and replace this by this. So 2x squared minus 18x plus x minus 9 equals 0. Again, notice that we have not changed anything. Negative 18 plus x is still negative 17x. But now I can factor by grouping, which I couldn't do before. I cannot factor by grouping 3 terms. But I can factor by grouping if I have 4 terms. We need to factor out what? From the first 2 terms. Anyone, please?
Two x,
Very good. What is left in parentheses?
x minus 8.
9, yes. So I have to copy x minus 9. I have to copy the equal symbol. I have to copy 0. Again, why am I copying it? Because when I look here, I may get confused. I may not get this factor. And who knows, from that moment on, everything collapses. I need the sign and the factor. If you don't put the sign, sorry, go ahead.
Plus 1.
Yes, if you do not put the plus and you change it into a product, you're not going to be able to solve. So you don't have to put the dotted 1. I do, just to remind you that it's there. What is the common factor now in these 2 terms?
X minus 9, 2x plus 1.
Yes. And you can always take it, remember it takes 5 seconds to verify. This times this is 2x squared. Positive 8 minus 18 is negative 17x. Negative 9 times 1 is negative 9. You can always go back and check. So then we have 2 options. When this is 0, then x is 9. When this is 0, then x is negative 1/2. Because you move 1, it becomes negative, and you have to divide by 2. Is this okay? As you see, it's always the same pattern. Always the same. Yes, I want to talk about this one. This one here. Okay. This is a formula that I would like to explain. If I know that the solutions of a quadratic, degree 2, quadratic equation are, let's say, the first solution x sub 1 and the second solution x sub 2, I can construct the simplest equation, quadratic equation of course, having these solutions with x1 and x sub 2 as solutions. How do I do that? X, the general variable, minus this number times x minus this number set equal to 0. So if somebody gives me the solutions, I can construct back. I can tell you the simplest equation that has those solutions. So please give me two solutions, x sub 1 and x sub 2. What is this x sub 1 and sub 2? It's something to refer to. So I will say the first solution is 9, x sub 1 is 9. The second solution, x sub 2, is negative 1/2. That's all it means. So give me two solutions that you want me to work with, and then I'll show you how to construct back, going backwards, how to construct the equation. Any two numbers you want me to work with. Any numbers?
Four and three.
Okay, perfect. 4 and 3. All I have to do is plug them in here. X minus 4, x minus 3 equals 0. So therefore, x squared minus 3x minus 4x and plus 12 is 0. This is the equation, the simplest one, because I can create more multiplying both sides by whatever number I want. But this is the simplest one with these two solutions. And there is no other simplest. So we can always go back and create the equation if we have the solutions. Good. So let's look at this problem. A model rocket is fired straight up from the ground. The height h in feet at the time t in seconds can be modeled by the equation. So they give us the equation. Now let's take a look. H equals negative 16t squared plus 176t. And they said that this is in feet and time is in seconds. Use this information to answer parts A and B. When will the height of the rocket be 450 above ground? Height 450 feet above ground. When will the height, 480, sorry. When will the height be 480 feet above ground? Good. We have to set up an equation. Which equation will you set up?
Apparently we don't know.
But it says age equals 480. I'm sure we know.
Wouldn't you put 480 equals?
Of course, 480 equals negative 16t squared plus 176t. Good. This is the equation we need to solve. Now I know there are two solutions because the degree is 2. I know what to expect. What do I need to do first? Absolutely mandatory.
Move everything around. equals
Very
0.
good. I move 16t squared minus 176t plus 480 equals 0. My hope is, I don't know, I haven't checked, but my hope is that I can divide everything by 16. I don't like this. I don't know. It could be possible or not. I don't know. So I will go to the calculator and I will divide 176 by 16. And I hope I get an integer, otherwise I can't divide by 16. Oh, promising, promising. And 480 divided by 16. Why? Because I'm all about factoring and simplifying. Oh, gee, wonderful. So then the equation becomes t squared minus 11t plus 30 equals 0. It really cleaned up good. It looks so beautiful now. 16 divided by 16 is this. This divided by 16 is this. 480 divided by 16 is this. 0 divided by 16 is this. And now everything is so much easier. So let's think about factoring this. The sum of the numbers we are looking for is what? And the product is what? Can anyone give us the sum and the product?
$30 and negative 11.
Say it again.
30 and negative 11.
Yes. So this is the product, and this is the sum. Very good. Excellent. Good. So we need two numbers. They both have to be negative because the product is positive. So the numbers have to have the same sign. But since the sum is negative, then they must be negative.
5 and 6.
Negative 5 and negative 6. Very easy to check. T squared. Negative 6t minus 5t. Indeed. Negative 5 times negative 6. Indeed. And we're done. T equals 5. T equals 6. Seconds. Seconds. Very good. Now there is a part B. What is part B? Here it is. So use a comma, type an integer, simplify fraction. So I'm going to put in 5, 6, so it can show me the next question. Okay. When will the rockets strike the ground? What does it mean for a object to hit the ground? What is the height when we fall and hit the ground, or when an object hits the ground? What is the height of that object?
$480.
So when we hit the ground, we are at 450, 480 feet above ground.
0.
0, 0. When we hit the ground, unfortunately, the gravity is cruel. When we hit the ground, height is 0. So negative 16t squared plus 176t equals 0. Of course, I am going to do what first? Immediately. Can anyone tell us What you think?
Divide by 16 again.
Divided by negative 16 again, indeed. I already have the numbers. So this is t squared minus 11t equals 0. Excellent. Of course, I have to factor out the greatest common factor, which is the greatest common factor is, yes, what is left in parentheses. And I know I have to get two solutions because the polynomial is quadratic. What is left in parentheses, please?
T minus 11.
Very good. Can anyone give us the two solutions? Second,
0 and 11.
0 and 11. So it hits the ground. Of course, at 0, it's right here in my palm, I guess. Starts at the ground level, and it will come back to ground in 11 seconds. So the idea is this. At t equals 0 is at the ground, at t equals 11 also at the ground, and at the height of 480 feet, right here is at 5 seconds, and right here is at 6 seconds. 0, going up, crossing the line of 480, reaching a maximum, and coming back to the ground, hitting again the 480 mark, and then hitting the ground in 11 seconds from the beginning. Good. I think we should go now and look at the review. Okay, so do we want to work on this one as well? So please read the problem and say yes or no. Yes, no, maybe. Anybody? So we have the area, and they're asking us to find x. The area is 28. The rectangle is x by x minus 3. And they're asking us to find the measure x.
X minus 7.